On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a pointless controversy. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 controversies and a pointless controversy. You know, when you look at the words of this song, you're just like, what is it with this dude and birds? Was there nothing else he could have gotten that lady? What is she going to do with 12 birds? That house is just filled with birds. Happy Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, boys and girls? It is Hanukkah weekend. We're busy making the potato pancakes, but let's just take a break from all the cooking and bread making to surmise this week's news. Maybe a little hypocrisy, maybe a little controversy, maybe a little nonsense, maybe a little, is this going to get me in trouble? Well, let's face it, I probably already am in trouble. And there are probably already a lot of people going, I don't know about that OGGM. I don't think he's one of us. I don't think I've been one of you for a long time. I'm not sure which one I am, though, but I think it's safe to say I'm probably alone on my little island here. And you know what? That's fine. So the number one thing we're upset about today is surprisingly not Wizards of the Coast. In fact, congratulations, Wizards of the Coast. You have made it an entire week without anybody being angry at you, other than the little hoopla over the changing of the dates on the thing, which could have just been perfectly fine. Yeah, you've made it through a whole week without Wizards of the Coast saying or doing anything dumb. Because, or maybe they have, we've just been so busy trying to find things wrong with Goodman Games and Matt Colville that we've been ignoring Wizards of the Coast this week. So congratulations, Wizards of the Coast. You made it. You made it a whole week. It's got to be a record, right? All right. So where are things standing now with Mr. Colville, and why are we angry at him? Currently, it looks like he's at $2,630,467 with an unbelievable 14,163 backers, and still 27 days left to go. In fact, there has been so much energy being poured towards this that he has reactivated some of the pledges. I believe somewhere on here there's a $500 pledge. I don't know what you would get for $500, but I guess you get something. Pledge levels, let's see. Pledge levels. All right, the $500 one. There's a $250 one. That's the longest one on here. Oh, this thing. Is this is this the $500 one? This Ajax edition? I guess. So anyways, there was a lot of pre-orders for this. In fact, there were so many pre-orders for this and so much requests for this that he's going to make more of them, thus delaying the amount of time that it will take him to make this. So the projected date for us actually seeing this is late 2025, if not even further into the nebulous future. I mean, he had a lot of, that's not unusual. I mean, there's been Kickstarters he's made in the past that took a long time to see fruit. And let's face it, there's still people waiting for stuff for Kickstarters that they Kickstarted years ago. I'm still waiting for my map to Freeport and my copy of the Memorial Tome, and I Kickstarted both of those years ago. So, yeah. Anyways, having a Kickstarter that's not going to see the light of day is, for a while, is not unusual. The question, of course, is, who are these 14,166 people that think this game is worth $2,631,000? Huh? Who are these people? Are they 5e people? Yeah, I'm going to get to that. Are they OGL people? Are they just fans of Matt's work? And they're like, well, it's Matt Colville. I've got all this other stuff. I'll back this, but this stuff is, you know, I mean, are there really 14,000 people out there who really want to see 4th edition come back? Because let's face it, that's the closest comparison to MCDM RPG that we have right now. It's like 4th edition meets Powered by the Apocalypse. Man, the 2d6 Powered by the Apocalypse mechanics are getting a lot of love this year. I told you guys years ago that Powered by the Apocalypse could be the next big thing, the next paradigm shifter. It just needed one little thing. You know, it could have been the next GURPS. It could have been the next paradigm breaker. There was just one thing that it was missing to get it over the hump, to break through the glass ceiling, and it never really got there. Well, apparently the best thing that Powered by the Apocalypse did is have other people crib it and make their systems based upon it. So I guess they finally have shattered the glass ceiling. I called that years ago. So who are these people? Who are you? I honestly want to know who the 14,169 people are who think that this game is worth $2 million plus. What is it about these buzzwords that's got you so excited? Now, because Matt Colville, and he's said some things and done some things, people were starting to cherry pick reasons to be angry at him. And one of the reasons we're angry at him now is a statement he made a while back when somebody said, okay, if you don't think America, make America great. If you don't think America is great now, when was the last time America was great? And Colville's response was June 21st, 1788. That's the day where the first U.S. Constitution was ratified. So, and a lot, people are saying, well, does that mean Matt Colville thinks America hasn't been great since June 21st, 1788, that we haven't done a single great thing since then? Or did he just pick a date at random? Or is he saying, well, that was the greatest moment in U.S. history and everything else after it is just, icing on the already great cake? Or did he just pick a date at random? How many times have you heard me say Belgium, 1487, before I actually knew what it was referring to? Maybe he just went, I don't know, random date just to be facetious. The same with he's made a lot of comments about men, and some people were taking it out of context that maybe he was one of the born again white lefties that hate white men, but those could also be just read as him being facetious, something, and him just going, yeah, men are the problem, right? It could have just been him being facetious. I watched a female LGBTQ comedian last night, and she made a lot of, references about how LGBTQ females are problematic, but she was making fun, so she was saying, yeah, lesbians, I know, right? So maybe Colville was just simply saying, because so many people are jumping on the I hate white men bandwagon, that he was just, going, yeah, man, come on. How many times you've heard me go, stop it, go girl, you go princess. Yeah, I know, men, they're such problematic, So are we cherry picking to be angry at him because we need a reason to be angry at him? Or do we really think this is actually what he meant? And then there's this. And a lot of people are upset about this. That it's not kowtowing to the sacred cows of 1970 gaming. That is trying to embrace more of the 4th edition thought style, that you're coming out of the gate as heroes who are going off into the world to fight monsters and tyranny. And the first thing people have said, well, that's dumb because first level characters aren't heroes. You're embracing the superheroics of 5e. If you're a first level character isn't a hero, you have to become a hero. Wasn't the first level fighter assumed to have been a hero because he has survived at least something to become first level? He's a veteran. I would argue that, yes, of course, first level characters are hero because they're the ones stupid enough to leave the village and go out and fight the monsters. That makes them better than the 99% of the village who are 0 level. You've reached it to first level. You're better than everybody else in the village. You got a freaking 18 strength. Show me one other person in the village who has an 18 strength. No, they've got 9s and 10s. You are a hero. So maybe that's what he means, I mean, and then there's things about, I don't count torches. I'm not going to really focus on the in between stuff. This is basically all going to be about going and killing monsters and taking their stuff. And I know, again, a lot of people are like, oh, what do you hate the old school because, you don't want us to be heroic. There's no time in your game because there's no torches. If you don't have wilderness encounters, that seems to be pretty boring. It feels like video games. Well, I've had this discussion before, and I assume that it is unique to me and unique to Southern California gaming because in my 40 plus years of gaming, not once in any edition that I have played has torches and encumbrance and all those other things really been a thing. Nope, we just always assumed we had torches. It hardly ever came up. If it did come up, it was usually the how many D&D games, usually it was players. I'm usually the one who reminds the DM that I can't carry something, or I'm usually the one who goes, oh, I've reached my encumbrance. I don't know if I can take that, or I'm holding a torch. I mean, I can't remember the last time I was in a game, including AD&D games, where encumbrance was a thing, or torches was a thing. And as for, I don't really want to focus on wilderness. That doesn't mean you can't. The wilderness is just another dungeon. So there's nothing saying that you can't run Matt Colville D whatever and throw in some wilderness encounters. It's just, what he wants to do is just focus on the good stuff, the chewy middle, the fighting and the combat and the character growth and all the fun stuff, So yeah, it feels more like a video game. Yeah, it feels more like 4E. But obviously that's what people want because he's got so many followers. So again, are the things he said things we should be angry about? He's not saying I hate the OSR. So he's just saying, there's stuff in the older editions that don't really work anymore. Let's take the grind and some of the stuff in for one AD&D and we kind of just shave it off. That doesn't mean you can't add it. You want to add torches into his game? He's not saying you can't. He's just saying, I'm not going to focus on that. He could just be saying, I want to present you with the best version of the game I can with the least amount of space wasted on things that I don't think are really matter. If torches are something you want in your game, go ahead. It's your game. Throw in torches. Throw in wilderness. Maybe you're just buying my game because you like the system and you're going to ignore everything else, like, most average people. I don't know. It just feels to me like that some of these complaints are nothing burgers, as somebody said to me when I was talking about Goodman Games, that were just kind of cherry picking just to be angry at him because we're jealous. Maybe it's just all these people going, well, I hate you, Matt Colville, because you made $2 million on the first day of your Kickstarter, and I haven't made anything on my Kickstarter. So I'm just going to dig up things. Or maybe these people are absolutely right. Maybe he does hate America. Maybe he does hate white men. I don't know. The guy has pumped out several $1 million Kickstarters. It seems to me he knows what he's doing. And if he's a hating white man who hates America, well, he seems to be a pretty good capitalist for it. So I don't know. It's news. And in closing, we're talking about it. So every time anybody posts about Colville and MCDM RPG, that's free press. That's the algorithm going, see, people are talking about this. And then it sends those numbers to Matt Colville's magic little computer, and Matt Colville's statistician guy looks at those numbers and goes, look, people are talking about you. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. People are talking about you. That's free press. And for every one of those negative comments, there's at least one person who's going to go, well, now I want to look at this game to see what everybody's upset about. Right? So 5 people, one of them is going, well, now I want to look at the game. And of those 5 people who went and looked at the game, one of them is going, I'm going to buy that game. I actually love everything I've read. So it's trickled down economics. You're talking about him. He wins. He wins. That's how this works, okay? You are giving him free press. He wins. All right. Moving on to the other big story. And that's, of course, Goodman Games. Mr. Goodman can't seem to win. But is that a bad thing? And we've gone over this a couple times already this week. And it's gone, the thing with the poster, the thing with the comments, the thing about the convention that happened a year ago, so this thing was the thing. And again, at first it was like, yeah, this is actually something we should talk about. But as the week progressed, it was kind of felt more and more like people were just cherry picking bits and pieces of the thing to be angry for the sake of being angry. All right, so let's start with the stupid poster. All right, okay, first thing, that was an ugly poster. All right, that just piss yellow background and way too many faces. Should have been a different color, and it should only have been like 3 big faces, and then you could have just listed the names. But for whatever reason, they made a choice, and they put a bunch of white people on the cover, and people got upset. And I gotta think, either 1, Mr. Goodman is incredibly stupid, or 2, he actually got the response he wanted. Because I find it hard to believe that anybody who is aware of what's going on in the tabletop role-playing game community would create a poster like that, knowing full well that there is a large minority of individuals out there who was going to attack him for making a poster with nothing but white faces on it. Someone in Goodman Games had to have the wherewithal to know that after everything that's happened this year, that poster was going to get you in trouble. You were going to get the Kyle Brink badge of whitepitude. So either there was nobody there smart enough to go, wait, maybe we should change that, or he did it on purpose because he knew it would get him cheap heat. Look how many people talked about a poster that otherwise probably we wouldn't have known anything about it. Would you have known about that poster or given a damn about that poster if so many people didn't come after it and then other people defend it? I can say personally for me, no, I wouldn't have known or cared about a stupid, ugly poster. And then if I did care about it at all, the only thing I would have been thinking about was, God, that's an ugly poster. What the fuck were you thinking? But now we're all like, blah, 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 blah. So was it intentional or just an accident? Years ago, I postulated that some of these people are maybe doing this on purpose. And a lot of people are like, oh, nobody's that dumb. Wizards of the Coast would never be that stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Then a short time later, other people started also saying, you know what? Maybe they are doing this on purpose because it's consistent and it gets them attention. And again, DM Kurt, how much attention would that poster have gotten if nobody, other than the fact that somebody took offense, and then somebody took offense at somebody taking offense. And then once that offense was out there, we started looking for things to be upset about. And the first thing we found to be upset about was a reference to a convention that happened in 2021 and this thing. Thank you, Tanker, for being the first person to make me aware of this. Always check out Tanker's Tavern. He's probably the, 99% of the time he posts a story before me. He is usually an hour to a day ahead of me on news. I think I've only beaten him to a story 3 times. So Eric, congratulate you. You are the man when it comes to tabletop role-playing game news and breaking stories. So somebody found this and made this and wanted to point out the fact that in the 8th printing, he specifically mentioned certain individuals, but in the 10th printing, he doesn't. And everybody was like, oh, he's cutting ties. He's telling the OGL. It's like, well, no, he wasn't. If you actually read the entire thing, he still acknowledges the older stuff. He just doesn't use the names. And actually, those names are found in other parts of the 10th printing. If you read the whole thing, he does acknowledge the older guys. He does acknowledge the history. He does acknowledge Appendix N. He's just not using the names. And there could be a lot of different versions for not using the names. One, Well, one individual suggested it could have something to do with the whole Gygax estate, Wizards of the Coast, TSR, Trollord Games thing. And maybe he's removing them because he doesn't want to be connected with any of that. He just wants to acknowledge that there's a past. These people exist, but he doesn't want to use names because there could be some legal mumbo jumbo involved in using those names. And so we don't know. I'm getting to that. So he apologized for the poster and he changed the poster, which upset a lot of people because, one, you know, there's no reason for you to apologize. There was nothing wrong with the poster other than it was ugly. Two, you took a knee. You gave in to the woke mafia in an attempt to appease them. That lost you a lot of respect from the people who were fans, like Aaron, and I know he is a fan, and other people. And if you think that got you the respect of the woke mafia, well, it didn't, because all you're doing is saying, I'm weak, I gave in, and here's some platitudes to make you happy. And they're not going to respect that. They're still going to go after you. So the second he posted that apology, he knew he was going to lose. The same thing with this thing. You know, he posted this, then he posted this, and then he said, oh, I'm sorry, you guys are upset about this. I guess I didn't realize how important those names were to you, you know, so I'm going to put them back in the 11th edition. And this is the response he's getting. The OSR crowd is still angry at him for taking the names out. The new kids are angry at him for putting it back in. And then there's people like this who are going, well, I don't really care because you backpedaled. That's just bad business. So yeah, and then in the end, as Aaron says, these could have been calculated risks. They could have been stupid mistakes. There is some cherry picking here, because when you look at the whole thing, you realize maybe it doesn't say what you're trying to make it say, and it kind of felt like some of these were just people looking for reasons. But I will say, as I said before, it's obvious that Mr. Goodman is sharing some brain cells with the geniuses at Wizards of the Coast, because this is a perfect example of, well, what you said may or may not have been good, but the way you chose to say it was disastrous. So there are better ways that Mr. Goodman could have gone about to, as I said previously, acknowledge the past, accept the fact that that past, the OSR, is a fading fan base. My 18 to 30-year-old fan base, there's now all 50 and 60-year-old men and women. How the fuck much longer is OGGM going to live? Have you seen the way that guy eats? I'm lucky you made it to 57, according to my cardiologist. You've got the heart of a 127-year-old boy. So there was a way to acknowledge the past, embrace the current market, you know, the 15 through 30-year-old gaming market, and set the stage for the future, because eventually that 13 through 30-year-old market is going to get older and become the 40 through 100-year-old market. And there's a brand new market coming up who's soon going to be 13 through 30, and they're looking at this. So there was a way to do what he tried to do without it being as controversial, and there's a way to not. And for whatever reasons, he chose the Wizards of the Coast school of bad business decisions and made actions that are never going to be forgotten. And here's the reasons right here. There's nothing that Mr. Goodman can do now to repair the damage he's done to his reputation between the ugly poster, the thing from 2021, and this. All I can do is say, I'm sorry, I'm making a new one, I'm putting the names back, which is what he did. He posted an apology, he posted his plans. Now, the best thing he can do is nothing. Nothing. Now, that sounds counterproductive, but stick with me here. At this point, you would want to be forgettable. You would know that by this time Monday, we will probably be upset about something new, most likely Wizards of the Coast or Matt Colville. And we will have forgotten that we're angry at Goodman because we're now focusing all our energy on the controversy of the week. Hey, anybody remember Spelljammer? Planescape? Deck of Many Things? Strixhaven? No, because now we're upset about this, and this time Monday, we'll be upset about something else. Probably Wizards of the Coast, or Daggerheart, or something. So, if I was Goodman, I've made my apology, I've made my bed, I know I can't win, so what is the best way I can lose? That does the least. Yeah. Exactly. Constantly giving him free press is increasing sales. I already said this. You've got 5 people. One of those 5 people is going to go, okay, I want to go over the Goodman press thing and see what that's all about. All right, so we funnel them down to the next chunk of the map. Now on this check, 5 new people are in the I want to check this out. So we've got 5 people who are checking out based upon the previous thing. And of those 5 people, one person is going to go, actually, I want to buy this game. I disagree. So every second that this is a story increases the chances of that one person buying the game. You're giving him free press no matter what. Sales are going to go up. You're giving Matt Colville free press. Sales are going to go up because for every 5 person that says, fuck you, there's one person that's going to go, I'm curious. And for every one of those 5 people who came over here that were curious, there's one person who's going to go, you know what? Fuck you. I'm buying that game. You were wrong. Or I'm just going to buy this game in spite. I mean, how much of that $2 million that Matt Colville's making is just spite $2 million? Just people going, oh, goddamn, screw you for complaining about this. I'm buying this game now just to shut you the fuck up. I'm sure some of that money is in there. So the best thing Mr. Goodman can do now is nothing. He's got the free press. He could just wait for the controversy to die down and for us to focus our attention elsewhere. And then February, he just pops back up and goes, this is where things stand on the 11th edition. Thanks, by the way, for all the free press. I mean, am I going to still be talking about this on Monday? Probably not, because by Monday we'll be angry at Wizards of the Coast or Daggerheart, or we'll be angry at Call of Cthulhu, or we'll be talking about the list that Diversity and Dragons made and how we agree with it or how we disagree with it, or we're going to talk about something that I said. No, hey, anybody who buys the stuff and doesn't like it is happy to send it to me. I will gladly appreciate anything you want to send. Remember, I'm a hopeless shill, and I will gladly sell out. Matt Colville, you want to send me a free copy of your game? I will gladly shill it. Goodman Games, you want to send me a free copy of the 11th edition of DCC, which is still my favorite retro clone? Fuck yeah. I don't care. There's still stuff in the DCC Goodman Games library I want copies of that I don't have. Even if I never get to play them. So is there anything actually going on newsworthy? Nope. Oh, hey, Artisolian announced a new thing. That's whatever. They're doing riffs. Artisolian is doing their version of riffs. A little late for that. Wouldn't it have been nice if we could ended the tabletop role-playing game year on a positive note? Is there anything we've done that is good? Are we just going to keep stirring the pot of anger because it's much easier to be angry and controversial than, find something good? I hope Matt Colville takes that $1 million, puts his game out, and uses the rest to do something good. Maybe he donates it to charity. Maybe he, gives it to a school. Maybe he sets up a trust for his kids. I don't know. Maybe he does what Kelsey does and buys himself a house. I don't know. I'd take your $1 million in a heartbeat. But then I'm a hopeless shill, which means it's that time again. It's time for the shameless self-promotion as I bring this to an end. It would be a great Christmas priff for you and your friends and your family. It says peace, love, and charity. Wretched Vigilantes, written by yours truly. Head on over to lulu.com and pick up Wretched Vigilantes. Villains always lose, and good guys never win, with the 4th and final book of the trilogy coming out. Henchmen Sing the Blues, hopefully by next year. It is my take on the dark, twisted Iron Age comic genre. Did not quite come out the way I think Red Room wanted. We'll talk about that. But yeah, that's the best thing you could do for Christmas is buy my merch. And if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to this nonsense that is the OGGM, it's not too late. We can still hit 2,000. Let's face it, we're not. But it can still be nice to dream. Anyways, that's my 2 cents on the Goodman Games / Matt Colville nonsense. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how much longer I want to do this. It's just getting sad. Talk to y'all later. Merry whatever.